Please retire.
Steve Cunningham at age 40.
Yeah, no, he was a badass back in the day, but not anymore. Nope.
Chad Bad Dawson.
Yeah, I believe they're trying to work a comeback with him. His record will allow it. He only has, I believe, 2 or 3 defeats on it, so he has a good record still. That's sort of what's keeping James Kirkland in the picture. We all know James is shot, but when you only have 2 defeats and like 28 out of 30 knockouts, you're gonna stick around, and that's what Chad's doing right now. But PBC's trying.
Okay, well, it'll eliminate at least one piece of dead lumber. James DeGale is going to fight Badu Jack January 14th.
Good fight,
right?
Yeah, yes, that's a good
but it's
fight.
going to get rid of one of these fighters. It's
Yep.
going to put one of them on the pile indefinitely. Let's see, who else do they have? Anthony Durrell. What did he do this year?
Nothing.
What did Durrell do this year?
Nothing.
By the way, I did pass over Charlo brothers, I admit it, but they made him fight all year. They fought literally all year.
They're just not fighting the people that we really want them to
fight. But
yeah.
and the same can be said about Anthony and Andre Durrell, right?
Of course. No, of course.
But the Charlos and the Durrells, both of them, at least are being showcased on some level. Unlike the rest of this woodpile of 30 to 40 like they have a lot of 30-year-old, like Juan Dominguez. Really? Right. How do you have a 30-year-old? Like, it's crazy. Robert Easter Jr. Nothing.
No, he was a good prospect. He has not blossomed with PBC at all.
Right. Still an undefeated guy, 18-0 with 14 knockouts. Didn't do anything with him in 2016. They signed everybody. I mean, I'm shocked at who's Omar Figueroa.
Dude, he fights at junior middleweight now. That is a joke. Omar Figueroa used to be a lightweight like a year ago. I don't know what the hell happened. Not only is he not fighting, he's just gaining weight, I guess, and moving up, and he got put in the rankings. He's actually in the top 10 of the junior middleweights, and I don't even know if he's taken a fight there. And if he has, it wasn't with anybody that should give him the credit of moving him into the top 10.
Andres Fonfara. His claim to fame is beating the guy, then losing to the guy who beat the guy.
Yep.
Oof. Unbelievable. Carl Frampton. I would argue that he's doing okay. He's got the Santa Cruz fight coming up in January 20th. You know, everywhere within this pile they have, and by the way, I'm not even discussing all the other fighters that I'm just blowing up.
Is it a surprise that it's a UK fighter that took the hardest opposition so far that you've mentioned on the PBC rankings?
No doubt. No doubt about it. But I think, and I don't know how much, Eddie Hearn is involved in making these fights.
A lot. These people know how to run sports. They know how to sell a ticket. You know what I'm saying? They're not playing this bullshit that HBO and all these other guys are doing right now. I don't even know. I do not know who is finalizing these deals on HBO, but they need to talk to him. Someone needs to sit him down and see what his real goals are for boxing on the network.
Danny Garcia. What did he do in 2016?
Lose more star power, if you ask me. Danny was so bright in this sport when he was fighting on the networks, and it has become an absolute nobody on the PBC.
All right.
Yes, there might be PBC fans that know him, but the PBC did not help Danny Garcia at all become a household name. Nobody knows who he is.
Let's stay on the Garcias. Mikey Garcia.
We're hoping he comes back. Look, he's taking on an undefeated champ in the lightweight division. Forgive me for not knowing how to pronounce his name.
Zlakatanen.
You're right. It's a decent opponent. It's a decent matchup for Mikey coming back into the sport, taking on an undefeated champ. So I'm good with it. If he wins, it's where he goes from there. Is he going to go on a pay-per-view run for HBO or Showtime and just start knocking out the top dudes? Because he's right there. He's a part of that list of guys that have stars around them. There's so many undefeated fighters in the junior welterweights and in the welterweight division. The fights can be made. These guys are literally not making them right now.
So let's continue the argument for worst fighter. Robert Guerrero had a horrible 2016. Horrible.
He should be thinking about calling it quits too.
I completely agree about that. Let's see.
I'll tell you one guy who should not be thinking about retiring, but it does not surprise me that he's now saying this. Did you hear the news this week of our current pound for pound champion, Andre Ward?
No, what's he doing?
Says he might retire instead of fighting Kovalev in the
I
rematch.
don't blame him.
Yeah,
Go
why?
out on
I
top.
mean, hasn't he always done that?
Yeah, he always does.
He
Well,
wins.
look,
He wins
at
something
his
big
age,
and then leaves.
and I will say this: at his age, it's got to be a lot of work. Like I can't even imagine getting in shape for a Kovalev or anybody in that age. They're all big. They're all strong. He's got to be at the top of his game. I'm sure he took a lot of punishment from Kovalev.
It's the arm. I think it's the right arm too has to play into effect here. I have no proof, but I'm telling you, there has to be something that's making Andre think of this. One thing I do not want to hear from him is that I have enough money to step away. That to me is a lie. I do not think the last time I checked Andre Ward's net worth when it was only at 2 million. He made 4 for the Kovalev. When you think of taxes, trainers, just everything in general, you're talking. Andre's 32. You're telling me you're not going to work for like the next 50 years? Say you live past your 80s.
I think he has enough money. I'd make the argument that he can go out on top, and
maybe if he lived like an average Joe.
But here's the thing: he's a top 100 fighter of all time. He's done it. He's done.
Yes, but there is a lot more money out there to make your family secure. His whole family, not just himself and his wife, and hopefully his kids at the end. But we're talking serious millions of dollars being left on the table if Andre was a step away today. That to me, he's not ready to step away from the sport financially. He might be ready to step away from it on a legacy issue, but no, not financially. Are you set to never work again the rest of your life? Because I don't think is he going to take a day job? Is he going to become like a regular citizen? Then I could see him making it. But you're not living like a pound for pound Hall of Fame champion who made millions and millions. You didn't make millions and millions. There is no millions and millions for you. Matter of fact, I don't even think you broke 10 million in his career. I don't think he's made more than 10. He might be at 7. 6.
I don't know how this discussion isn't on the best of 2016 show. How did you work Andre Ward into the worst of 2016?
Because he's retiring. He's saying he wants to retire, Lee, and that's a shame. That
would be the worst of 20. Yeah, but he's not going to retire this year. So it'll probably be the worst of 2017.
2017.
Yeah. Continuing on with the worst fighters of 2016, Amir Khan.
Garbage.
How did everybody buy into the hype of Amir Khan? Where did it actually happen that somehow
he was good looking, he was fast, he has a big fan base, Lee. His background made him an instant star in the boxing world. He was a poor man's De La Hoya. He had silver, De La Hoya had gold. De La Hoya TKO'd Chavez, he TKO'd Barrera. There was a lot of similarities to this kid when he came out as being another Oscar De La Hoya, not Mexican, obviously. He's Middle Eastern descent, but he was like Oscar, and I think they bought into that really quick, but they never knew how good his chin was.
Eris Cindy Lara.
The joke. Look he's fighting Yuri fucking Foreman in his next fight. That's a joke. I don't know what Lara has to do. Lara, here's some advice. How about lowball yourself? Like really lowball yourself. Like lowball yourself so much that a Cotto or a Charlo or someone in the junior middleweight division would have to look at you for an opponent. I don't know how else you're going to get your break. You beating Yuri Foreman does nothing for you. Yuri Foreman hasn't been relevant in 4 years? I thought the kid was retired. Now you're coming back and you're fighting the second-rated best fighter in the junior middleweight division? It's a joke. I'm very upset with Lara. I know Lara has tried to get himself big fights. I understand that. But he might have to start bringing down his price a little just to get one of these guys to fight him and take it from there. Because I'll tell you, Lee, Lara's good, but he's not the best of the best. This guy has losses to average fighters.
But a horrible 2016 again.
Yeah, no, he's just PBC.
Yeah, PBC.
Don't do shit for
I mean,
him.
it's so funny that I can just go down this list in alphabetical order, And J. Leon Love. There's a great example. What the hell is going on there?
Nope. I think the last thing I heard about J. Leon Love is he's now Floyd Mayweather's driver.
Oh
I'm
my
serious.
God.
Yeah. I think he's like, the right hand guy to Floyd now.
That's awesome.
Yep. I want to say he even got a ticket doing like 100 and some one of Floyd's cars. Don't hold me to that, but I believe I read that story at some part of 2016. So not
That's
only is
awesome.
it,
So,
not only
wait,
is
I finally found somebody who had a good 2016. Well, we could talk about him in the 27 best of 2017. I think Abner Mares had a good 2016.
yes, he brought it back
From my hometown of Montebello, California. All right, let's see. Continuing on with the worst of 2016, thanks to the PBC and their actual list. John Molina Jr. Horrible 2016. Like,
yeah, he got paid, but I mean, shit.
Come on.
His star power going in 2017 isn't looking too good.
Sergio the Latin Snake Mora.
Stop it.
Will that be the end of him in 2016?
I hope. Knowing the PBC, he'll be fighting one of their champs. He'll be fighting Lara. It's going to be Mora versus Lara.
But
next.
Again, it's like Robert Garcia. Like, they're just feeding him. I'll tell you a fighter that I'm disappointed in 2016. I would have liked to have seen more out of Lamont Peterson this year.
Yeah.
Great fighter, and I didn't get to see a single thing out of him.
Lee, they have way too many star fighters that they can't keep up paying with. And there's also a rumor going around that if this lawsuit...
How did Porter not fight Peterson this year?
I don't know.
How did Porter not fight Peterson? I mean, it's just that simple. How did that fight not happen?
Yeah. There are rumors, Lee, that Al Heyman's trying to hold back on paying these guys what he was when he started this PBC thing, because if that lawsuit does go south for him, he's going to have to pay these investors back on these fights. So you obviously don't want to keep writing $1 million checks if you don't know if in the near future here you might owe somebody back. So that's one theory that's out there on why the PBC has dropped off, one, on shows, and two, if you look at the payouts that they're giving their fighters now, which is probably too much for some of the matchups that they're still doing, but it's nowhere near what they were doing 2 years ago when they're literally everyone's making like $1.5 million just to step in the ring.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Who else can we talk crap about having a bad 2016? Adonis Stevens.
He's a nobody.
Adonis
Stevenson is another fighter that fucking lost all of his momentum that he had with the networks. Dude, Kovalev Stevenson is one of the biggest fights boxing can make. Now people don't even talk about Stevenson. That's the problem. Who out there is demanding Stevenson Ward? When did that trend?
I agree. Artur Spilska, your favorite, Andrew.
He stepped in, he took a check, he went home. Look at right? He's the one who steps in for Deontay Wilder. Wilder loses the Povetkin match. They come back home. Spica comes out of nowhere, probably got $1 million. I don't know what they paid him, but then he loses and goes away. Another guy that looked like he had talent coming up has gone nowhere with the PBC.
For those of you who didn't know, Antonio Tarver is still active and on the PBC roster getting a payday at 48 years old.
He's just hoping that everyone forgets that he keeps getting busted for steroids. That's why he's outside. He wants everyone to forget that, and then he'll try to make a comeback again, probably on steroids.
Austin Trout.
Forget about it.
What a disappointing 2016.
Yeah.
A year he could have made himself. You know, it's funny because I'm looking at Keith Thurman and I'm going to say, yeah, I like Keith Thurman this year. I thought he's got a fight coming up. They're definitely backing him. I got no issues with Keith Thurman. In fact, he would arguably be on my list of best fighters for 2016.
Right.
But then
he's
to follow it up
follower.
And literally following it up within the same breath, right behind him in alphabetical order, Austin Trout. Yeah, I have no doubt that they're going to bury you on the bottom of a card. He's bottom rung filler is what he is.
Yeah. He had his moment. He beat Cotto in New York. That was a great moment for him.
And nothing behind it.
And nothing behind it. That was it. And some believe that Cotto took that defeat in New York because he left Top Rank for that fight. Just saying. And we know you're always supposed to get hometown decisions. It's not like Austin Trout beat the living crap out of New